everybody, and welcome to another episode of Small Business Success Talk. I'm your host, Christy Smallwood, and today it's just me. But I am going to quickly remind you, if you are not involved in a local chamber like I am with the Chamber of St. Matthews, located in Louisville, Kentucky, you need to be a part of your local chamber. The Chamber of St. Matthews is one of my sponsor partners, and I throw that flag out all the time because I will waive the importance of joining a local chamber, a local group in which you can make those business connections, start to build those relationships with your peer group of other business owners and development people in your local area and make your communities great. That all being said, let's move on because today it's just me. So this will be a shorter episode. And I've been having conversations lately all wrapped around customer service. And usually it's not in a the conversation never starts out with, "Hey, let's talk about customer service." No, it's a, "Oh my God, Christy, I've got to tell you what I just experienced." And it's hardly ever a positive story in which they're experiencing. And I will sit back and listen to the story. I'm going, "Oh my God, that is awful." For example, so I'm going to tell you a story and I need you to gird up your loins because this is a good one. And it doesn't, I mean, here's the thing, the stories never end. I'm sure you have at least 5 of them off the top of your head. But I'm gonna give you the story of my best friend and her dryer. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, she gifted her son who had recently moved out their old washer and dryer. So basic household items, bigger purchases, basic household items. So she goes to, and I am absolutely calling out the business because it's important to understand. Lowe's. God love them, Lowe's. Um, so she bought a new fancy schmancy washer and dryer set from Lowe's. Part of the deal when you buy something like that is that you have it delivered and set up. So there was an extra feature on the dryer because it's a steam dryer. Also, I mean, again, fancy schmancy, where it requires an additional setup from somebody who knows what they're doing in the setup so that you don't ruin the warranty. Fine, all fine and dandy. So the first time Lowe's came out with a set of appliances, it was 2 washers. Well, that's not helpful. So she sent them back on their way and said, "Come back with the right things." It wasn't the right model. It wasn't the right anything on that first delivery. Second time they come out, it was 2 dryers. Still not helpful. So, um, now we're on the third time they come out. The third time they come out, they bring a washer and a dryer, which was fine, but nobody set it up. So now we're on trip number 4. And to say that my friend is beyond irritated is very mild, is calling out lightly that she is beyond irritated because each time one of these trips, you get the standard, we can be out there within a range of, say, noon to 3. And so what that does to her, she is a very, a very successful high-end real estate. She's a realtor and she's extremely busy. And so to have her locked in at home during a 3-hour window is not at all helpful for her. Well, so now we're on trip number 4. So we're counting the trips. Trip number 4, somebody comes out to actually do the setup. What happens then is they didn't have the right fixture to actually set it up. So they would have to order this piece that she needed to have a correct setup. So now we're talking through the roof moon. Oh my God, somebody's going to die level of frustration that she's beyond being nice on the phone to the customer service person on the other end who is, their job is to make sure the delivery guy did it right, the setup guy has done it right. Like part of that job on the other end of the phone is to make sure everything is going smoothly for the customer who paid a shit ton of money to have all of this stuff taken care of correctly the first time around. So my friend calls me at this point and says, "Christy, what are you doing this afternoon?" I was like, "I don't have any meetings, but I have plenty of work to do." She's like, "Do you think you could bring that over here?" I was like, "Yes, as long as I can get on your Wi-Fi, I like have laptop, will travel. I've set my business up that I can do that so I can be accessible when I need to be." And so she's like, "Let me let you know." She did. I went over, I got all hooked up and I have listened to this story. So were they were supposed to be there before 6 o'clock PM. This was a specific day that my friend, her mother was it turned 70. They were taking her out for her birthday and they had reservations. And Lowe's is like, "We're gonna be there before 6." She's like, "Christy, I have to leave at least by 5." And she's like, "Do you think you can come over?" I said, "Yes." So not a problem. I'm over there and I'm waiting. 5:30 rolls around, there's no dryer person. Now, a neighborhood kid had stopped by, and I was like I opened the door, and there's a kid with a basketball, and I was like, "You are not here to set up the dryer, are you?" So, I only had 1 visitor the time that I was there. The cat very much appreciated that I was there to scratch her butt the whole time. I'm working on my laptop while the cat is getting attention. I don't have pets of my own, so that was kinda nice. However, so my friend is at her mother's birthday dinner, still calling Lowe's to confirm, where is this driver? Where is the guy that's coming to set this up? She's like, "My friend had to stay at this house. My friend isn't," like, she is just really having at it with the call lady. And needless to say, nobody showed up that evening. So my friend has like over the top is not even the words for it, very expressly said to this person, "You need to make sure that somebody is out here tomorrow morning before 10 o'clock before I ruin your world," basically. And my friend gets up the next morning, starts calling like at 8:30. "Where are these people? Where are these people? Like, make sure they're here because I have to leave. Make sure they're here." Like, this is because she's correct. Like, she's the one that's paid for this. They should have had their shit together. This has been a horrible nightmare of a story, and it's not over. So I find out later, like the next day, the guys did come and there were third party contractors. Okay, nothing wrong with that. So they get there and Dana is super furious. And she's like, "You need to get this done and get back out. I've got to go." Like she's clearly not having a good day. And the guys basically told her, "We don't like your attitude and we can leave." And she's like, "Technically, yes, you can." And he apparently had enough nerve, which I don't know a guy who's quite that stupid. Maybe I do know a lot of them, but I don't know. But guys, never, never, ever, when a woman is that pissed off, I would not recommend you look at her and said, "I'm doing you a favor," because that to a woman, and let alone a woman like my friend who is a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo, which classifies her as her own weapon. Like she is a walking weapon. Um, she could kick your ass, basically. You don't know what you're gonna walk into. Just don't do that to a woman. This guy did that. She about went ballistic. I'm so surprised those guys even walked away alive. And she can quickly explain to them, "You wouldn't be here if I hadn't paid for this in the first place. You would not be getting paid to do what you're doing if it were not for me paying for this in the first place. Get in here, get the job done, and get the fuck out." So, uh, and the guys who did it did not do it well. So she has had horrible, horrible service through this whole experience. And unfortunately for my friend, this is not the first time that she's had horrible customer service. She's had horrible customer service from all kinds of different companies, and I don't know if it might you know what? It might just be my friend, she just brings it on, I have no idea. How it doesn't even matter, but the stories that she tells me, she has gotten the runaround from so many different places. Everything from trying to get her wedding ring it when she got married to, even buying a new car. She's like, "I am not doing this runaround shit. Do not go back to your manager. I don't have time for this shit. Here's what I want. This is what I'm willing to do." Like, she's not gonna first of all, she's not gonna play the games, and she's just had so many bad experiences over her lifetime, and I get to hear about them, and I'm starting to take notes because at some point I'm gonna write a short story book about customer experiences. Um, that's only one. So I mentioned Dana's story, my friend's story, in a group, and I said, "Anybody else have" and they're like, "Oh, yeah." So they start telling me all these stories, so I've started my notebook of horrible customer service stories. These things are rampant everywhere. Everybody's had a horrible customer service experience at some point, probably in the last week. You've had at least one bad customer service experience. Now, I mean, even to the point of so one lady, back it's been a while when you had and I guess they still do have satellites that you put on your house and DirecTV and Dish, things like that. One of those companies that she had, it was during the winter, and she had called because there was a problem with it, and they told her to get on the roof to check if there is snow on the dish. Okay. Um, you're telling you're telling your customer to go get on their roof. She's like, "I no, I ain't getting on my roof." There is another one, McDonald's, okay? So, another friend of mine and said he went to order a cheeseburger and he wanted he just he wanted, a simple cheese, no how did he put it? McDonald's cheeseburger, plain. Okay, so this is 2 people in this group that I just talked to ordered a plain McDonald's cheeseburger. One experience came back with no meat. So plain cheese. Like the order actually they actually took the meat out of it and gave him a cheese sandwich. It wasn't even grilled. The other one had an experience of not understanding that she wanted a cheeseburger plain. Like, and what that means, honestly, is like no onions, pickles, ketchup, just the cheese and the meat and the bread. That was all she wanted. But plain did not mean that for everybody. So just, and these were just in a quick conversation, like literally 5 minutes worth in a group, having all of this stuff come at me. There has been horrible customer service for decades. This is not a recent event. We all have some sort of horrible customer service story that we could be telling, and we usually do, because the bad ones are the ones that we like to our little our little monkey brains or little savage monkey brains are always on the lookout for things that could, you know, destroy us, like threaten us, and we're always looking for the threats. Well, we warn each other about those threats, like, "Don't do that because that was a horrible experience for me." So so but here's the thing, we also there's a flip side. We have also had great customer experiences. Now, my friend Dana has had a horrible customer experience in Disneyland in California, but she's also had fabulous customer experience Disney guest experiences in Florida. So you've got 2 different locations. It may be 2 different you would think it'd be the same training everywhere, but you just never know. 2 different people, of course. How much does the managers empower their people there versus Florida? Don't even know. But I mean, I've had great customer experiences in a variety of places. Do Here's the question to ask ourselves as a reminder as business owners. What gets talked about the most? What do you talk about the most when you have experienced some other business out there? When you've experienced something great, do you get online and you talk about it? Do you give them a great review, that 5-star review thing for real, like a genuine, "Here's why I liked it," not just click the 5-star button to move along? While I appreciate those numbers, I wanna know why you like it. What about it made it a great experience? Feedback is good. We wanna do more of the great. We want to take good to great. We don't want to be sucky. We don't wanna have to be fixing everything, but we need to know that too. Or do you immediately go, "Oh my god, this is horrible. Everybody needs to avoid that pitfall." 9 times out of 10, you're gonna hear a lot more of the bad than you are the good. These are things that we have to be very aware of when it comes to running our own businesses. Whether you have teams or not, you still need to pay attention. So let's talk about for a hot minute and a half or, 15, how to be great at customer service. There's, plenty of ideas, plenty of ideas. But this is going to be coming from what I've experienced from great customer service. So typically, what this boils down to is that that person was always present with me. I felt like I was the one getting the attention. I felt special because they were present with me. Now, what does it how do you be present? So let's talk about that a second. Empathy, emotional intelligence, some of those soft skills like actually just literally closing off the rest of the world and paying attention to the one right in front of you. Acting as if I want to have a great relationship with you, even for this 30 seconds or 5 minutes, whatever it takes. If it's a phone call, just know I don't have anything else going on around me in my surroundings. You are the world to me for this few seconds we have. That is being present. Making me feel like you are not being distracted by everything else going on is a big deal. That to me creates some great customer experience, and that's how you be great at customer service. Number 2, something that has always stood out to me as well is when that customer service person is mindful of the company's objectives, beliefs, culture, whatever you want to call that, around customer service, because they will also behave accordingly. Think of the Southwest flight attendants, the ones that you see that go viral on those videos because they have made that whole reading the rules and regulations, here's what you do, and put your, oxygen mask on first before you help somebody else and the vest and blah, 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 blah. The ones that make it fun because that's part of the Southwest culture are the ones that go viral because everybody wants to be a part of that. Why not? Like great rates and it's fun. Yes, please. You're getting me where I need to go. Yes, please. So now does Southwest do everything perfectly? No. But if we want to experience that great customer service experience, then you're going to gravitate to the Southwest more than you are someplace else. I don't know. I haven't flown many others in a while. Another thing that I know to be part of what makes somebody really great at customer service is that they do have somebody that they can go to be better in a couple of different ways. One, to be hone their own skills in communication or negotiation, how to diffuse a situation whenever things start to go bad, how to level up, like how can I make this even better for the customers? How can I do better? That's having a mentor relationship in the business. That's not always there. That's actually kind of a rare moment, but I know that that's one of those key things that just make people shine as a customer service person. And and then you also need to have those mental and energy breaks. You can't be customer service 24/7. You need to refill. And so those people who've been in customer service who have found, they're happy outside of answering the phones all day or, whatever that looks like, they also bring that happy energy back to the job. And I love that because then I'm getting the benefit because they've been rejuvenated somehow and they've got more energy to put back into it. So those are some things, those are 4 key things that I have experienced from somebody else who has provided great customer experience. Just 4 simple things. But not everybody can do it well, and not it and because let's talk about that number 3. If you don't have I'm looking at my notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't, like, screw up saying it. I wrote it down, but here's the reality of the situation. Not everybody has a great mentor. Not everybody has a mentor, let alone a great boss or a leader in the business that they can go to help develop themselves within that career. Now, what's the problem with that? That'd be you. You're the leader of the business. That's on you. You have to take responsibility for that. So, as a leader, I would say, don't suck. Just don't suck. Okay, so now if we can step back a second and say, all right, how can I not suck? This is my business. Am I doing all the things that I can do to be better at customer service, client service, guest service, whatever patient service, whatever you're giving that person who's paying you to do the service, whatever title you may have for them, the reality of the situation is they are paying you for a service. If you are providing just the basics of what they are paying you for, great. That's awesome. That's very transactional. They pay you, you do the thing, off you go. But if you've ever read the book Raving Fans, it talks about setting that vision and the objectives and then making sure it's aligned with what the customer wants. You're not going in one direction, there in the other, but making sure that's aligned and then providing an extra 1%. Jim Rohn, if you're not familiar with him, was a great motivational speaker, success development person, philosopher of the day, sales trainer. Like he just great. I loved his style. Fantastic success mentor to so many of those that are still ahead, or definitely ahead of me in this business. But Jim Rohn would always say, to have more, you need to be more. You need to do more than what's expected of you to really stand out. Like, how do you differentiate yourself in the marketplace? Do more than is expected. You just put a little extra in it. My great grandma, God rest her soul, she would tell us a lot whenever cooking. And my mama's kind of said the same thing. But my great grandma very specifically said, she's like, you can go by that recipe, but it won't taste like mine. And I would listen to the conversation and mom's like, well, what extra did you do? She's like, I ain't telling. Like, there's always some secret piece in the recipe in which she put extra of something. And in my family, it's always either extra vanilla or extra cinnamon, something in those 2 things. And I'm an extra garlic person myself. Oh, it calls for a pinch of garlic. No, you keep dashing that stuff in there until I'm like, yeah, I smell that. That's good. How I digress. But the concept is the same. Like you can have it bland or you can put a little extra in it. And we want, like, if you want repeat business and if you want referrals, you need to make sure part of your strategy is putting the little extra in it. Have it charted out that here's what it takes to meet our clients' expectations. Now, where are the points in which we could provide a little bit extra that they just didn't experience? They just wasn't expecting that. And that then, because over time, you also need to be aware that's kind of starts to become the norm. This is how free shipping started back in the day. When, Amazon Prime wasn't really even a thing yet. The membership of it wasn't pre Prime. They would just randomly provide free shipping, and it was a glorious thing, and because that continued to get repeat purchases, then they kept building off of that, and now look at them. I am not an Amazon for sure, but step back in your own business and in your own way. I know areas in which I need to work on. Let's make no mistake. There are some spots in my business I completely suck at. I'm aware of that. Even more so after this morning going to a training on systems and processes within the speaker business. So I'm also a professional speaker, and I want to get better at everything about what I do with the speaker business, including honing my craft and how to, make this whole business run more efficient. Yeah, there's some things I definitely suck at. And customer service, while on the front end, it's great. Personally, my follow-ups need some extra help. I don't do enough, I don't think. Like, my extra could be in that follow-up. That's where I've always heard the fortune is in the follow-up. Well, I could be doing a whole lot better if I would just do better follow-ups. What a concept. At least I know where that is, and now I'm gonna be focusing on, "Oh, I could be doing A, B, and C over here, and that would get me to X, Y, and Z." So, stepping back and looking at, do you have a customer service plan? Do you have a client experience plan? Not just a strategic plan for your business overall, but what is the client experience plan that you want your clients to become your best advocates out there? Then the next question for you as the leader is, are you giving your team, your employees, your team what they need to be great at customer service? One of the things I do know about Disney, I don't know, again, this is pre-2020, so let me disclaimer that. Back in the before times, um, Disney employees would be empowered to make a customer experience, like, judgment call on the spot up to a certain amount, like, every day. Like $50 or something? I don't know. I don't remember what the amount was, but they had the ability to, on the spot, create some magic for a guest, to make something that may have gone wrong for a guest, make it right. There's a list of things that they have. You do all the studies. I've got 10 books on the Disney business. The employees, the cast members, have the empowerment enough to make things right, but they can also make things magical. Now, they've been under new leadership for a while and some things aren't going so great. I'm not sure how it is today in 2022, but I know that that has been part of their culture and their systems for quite some time. If we would just step back and say, "Okay, here's what I really want people to experience with me," like, back to, how about you take a moment to be great at customer service in your own business and be proactive about it. You really should be present with that person. What does being present with your client, your guest, your patient, your customer, what does that mean for you and your business? What does that look like? Based on your values and your beliefs and how, and then the mission you're on to bring a vision about, what does that mean? And then how can you proactively be mindful of all that you're putting into this effort? How can you instill it? So, instilling is living in it, like, in a in a Christian sense, in a Bible sense, it would be called abiding, like, literally living in it, like, just soak in that, marinate in it. Go back to cooking terms, marinate in those company objectives and beliefs around that, the culture of creating great customer service. We all have experienced bad. We know what we don't want to have happen. Let's be proactive about creating what we do want to have happen. What if we did that? What if everybody took just that that amount of time to be proactive about treating others the way they want to be treated, which is usually pretty basic stuff, like special, like pay attention to me, eye contact, and not in a furrowed brow, like don't look at me like I'm hateful. I don't need that kind of eye contact. If you're seeing me on camera, you'll see I'm a very facial expression person. I have the RBF, so I have to pay attention to what my eyeballs are doing. Look at me like I, I'm a brand new shiny object, just this rare item that you found. Because at the end of the day, if I'm providing the services, if I'm executing on the tasks at hand to provide a great customer experience, I also need to be mindful that that customer paid for that. I wouldn't have a livelihood if it weren't for them. I may be putting effort into finding them and enticing them to come to me and persuading them over here. That's marketing and sales. But ultimately, they decided to take a risk on me. And I am grateful for that. And I need to be mindful that they took a chance. And I need to appreciate that moment as if they are gold to me. Which they are, they're my diamonds, they're precious to me. All of my clients are precious. All the people I've come in contact with that are in those audiences, that my guests here on Small Business Success Talk, I very much appreciate all them. Where I suck is probably in the follow-up to let them know I still think about them on a regular basis. I wanna know all of their successes. I wanna celebrate everything going well in their life, and I wanna be there to just hold space when things aren't going well, because 'cause I'm not a really good commiserator. I don't like to, sit around and bitch and moan and complain. I tell my friend Virginia, I'm like, "Don't let me do that." And she lets me do that way too much, but that's on her. She has great customer experience just built into her DNA. You guys. Okay. So I told you this would be, kind of quick, uh, shorter episode, but that's pretty much what I have. Chocked full of stuff based on my own experiences. I would love to hear your great customer service experiences, and your horror stories, because like I said, I am collecting those. So by all means, send those to me, connect with me. Thank you for subscribing to this show. Catch us on smallbusinesssuccesstalk.biz. You can find all of the past episodes there. If there is a person that you are aware of that you're like, they really need to be on your show, please send them to me as well. I'd love to have some more guests coming up for the rest of the year. And it is fall time around here. So if you are experiencing the change of season while at the same time experiencing like 6 planets in retrograde, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this today on Small Business Success Talk. I have been your host and facilitator, Christy Smallwood. Thank you guys so very much, and catch you again on the next episode of Small Business Success Talk.